Good evening and welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Ramont Williams. Trying to see why we're not live here again. It says that we are, but hold on. There we go. I've been doing a lot of researching and I haven't been on here for a while. And I've been reaching out to a lot of women, not just particularly Black women, but women of all ethnic backgrounds. And what I've realized is this, and I'm not on here to bash women by any means. I'm on here to talk about those particular women that have these mindsets. So um, I'm going to emphasize that I'm not talking about all women. So if I generalize, it's only pertaining to those women that have these characteristic traits. You may be some of those women. You may know family members that's some that have these characteristic traits, or co-workers or friends. So whatever the case may be, that's who I'm referring to. Okay, so I'm not talking about all women because there are some beautiful women, not only physically in the world, but mentally and emotionally. So we're not including those women. Okay. So with that being said, our topic today is unrealistic expectations. And like I said, I go to the gym about 6 days a week, and there's a variety of women there, and I watch these women from afar before I ever approach them, just to see, their body language and stuff like that. And the ones that I have had the opportunity to approach and get their perspectives about the disparity between men and women. And when I say disparity between men and women, I don't even think a lot of people understand what disparity means. So, give you an example. A lady reached out to me. I won't mention her name on Messenger, and I asked her. I said, "Well, sister, may I ask you a question?" And she said, "Yes, by all means." I said, "What is your perspective on the disparity, the great disparity between men and women?" And she got to talking about this equal thing, which I don't understand how women feel men and women equal, but that's something different. I don't want to get off the top subject. Well, anyhow, the lady, I kept asking her questions, and I asked her, I said, "Do you really know what disparity is? Because you're responding to something that I'm not asking." So I think she got offended, so she blocked me, which that's fine, because that just goes to show what I already knew, that she didn't know what she was talking about, which seems to be the case in a lot of situations, that even though a lot of women have a lot of academic accolades, when it comes to using common sense, conversation wise, they can talk about economics, they can talk about politics, they can talk about corporate law, the whole 9 yards. But when it comes to everyday common sense about life, they don't have a clue. And it's sad. So, with that being said, I've been doing this research, as I said, and I came up with this title, Unrealistic Expectations. And the reason being is because I'm surprised by something. Okay. I just want to run through this real fast, okay, and follow me. This is kind of like a little history level. If we go back on to the Great Depression, okay, when this feminism started, actually before the Great Depression, then we move up to the 60s during the Civil Rights Movement, okay. Then we move into the 70s, then we move into the 80s, and then we move into the modern day times that we're presently in. Okay, as we go back into time, women during the 1800s, late 1800s, and the early 1800s, early 1900s, during the Great Depression, they were fighting for rights in the workplace because of discrimination, that men held control of everything, and they were fighting for their rights, equal employment, equal salaries, promotions, the whole 9 yards. As we move forward during the and women at that time relied on men. Men were still the head of the families. Women had their roles. And I'm not even implying that even in today's time that women should be barefooted, pregnant, and just living in the house. So, we're past that stage, and any man that thinks like that is primitive and a Neanderthal. What I'm simply saying is God created a divine order. So many people talk about they believe in God, but they don't exercise God's laws. And this is what I'm running into, and this is what I have a problem with. So this leads me to this topic, unrealistic expectation, because I've reached out to a lot of women, and this is something else that I found, that a lot of women don't want to be on the podcast, and it's not because this podcast is not popular and some of the other ones, but it will get there. My problem has been with this podcast is I haven't been consistent because I have so many other things going on. But now I'm just to get back in it. This is pretty much like a pre-run of what's to come. Okay, so these women are refusing to get on and be guests. They'll use the excuse, "Are you paying me?" Which I think maybe I did the research. Some of these bigger shows, podcasts, they do pay their guests, but they have the revenue to do it. I'm just starting out, so that's not available at this present time. But I think women use that as an excuse, and I tell them this: "What am I paying you for?" Usually when people are invited to be guests, they specialize in something. When you look at these podcasts, all the beautiful women they're sitting there is usually only one or two women that's involved in the dialogue, in the narrative. The other women are just sitting there. So you're basically just coming there. You get dressed up to come there for what? You have nothing to add or nothing to take away from, because you don't know anything. So you don't want to talk because you don't want to embarrass yourself. And that's just a simple reality. And I've concluded that a lot of women don't want to speak publicly about things they know are morally unjust, unsound, unprofound, about the way a lot of women think today. Not all women, just a lot, and particularly a lot of these younger women. When you say from the age of, I will even go back a little, and these are children from the age of 14, 15 on up to about 45 or 50. Okay, so you don't want to get on here and express, but you'll talk in a group of your friends and family, people that's going to champion your belief system, even though they know it's not realistic. Okay, so with that being said, as we move forward, the men were still leading the households. When we had this civil rights movement by Dr. Martin Luther King, men were still in the lead, okay, and women played their support roles, which God created. We're not saying that men are dominant, because when you read the Bible, God never said that He gave man dominancy over women. We're not saying that, and I'm not implying that. Okay, but as we move forward, when you get now, follow me on this, because I'm going to show you how this independence derived piggybacking off of this feminism. And this is the reason a lot of women think the way that they think today. But remember something, every fad has its run, and then it concludes, like everything else in history. Okay, so as we get to the 70s, those of you that may remember the 70s, we went from the family household to the men exploiting women sexually. You're talking about prostitution and pimps. It became a national acclaimed thing that not only that blacks participate in, Hispanics, or anyone that felt they had the gift of gab or to motivate women to go out and exploit themselves for their personal gain. Okay. Now, while this was going on, the government behind the scene, and this was a little bit for the 70s, behind the scene had created this welfare system. Now, remember, a lot of times people get so caught up into the media that they don't look at the realities of life and see the media never has anything good. It's always something bad or beneficial towards companies or conglomerates or rich people. It never benefits the middle class or the minority people. Okay, so what happens is this: while they're creating this welfare system to pull the family apart, remember you got feminism, feminism that's booming. Okay, feminism is an off branch from femininity. Okay, mean two different things though. Okay, now we've come into this era of the 70s, exploitation of women. Okay, so women were truly abused in that era. You know, I had a lot of prostitutes and pimps in my family. Okay, so I know I didn't participate in that era. I was just a youngster, but I seen it. I grew up around it. I seen it, you know, them getting dressed. I seen a bunch of women getting in the cars and the men's with the big hats and the long lapels and bell bottoms and the platform shoes. I seen all that stuff. Okay, I seen the physical abuse of it when they thought that the women were beating them out of their money, the whole 9 yards. So remember, as we move forward, the women are no longer being led, they're being exploited and abused. So with these other things the government had in place, welfare system, you know, feminism booming, then here comes people, the music industry. The music industry, just like social media, changed the whole spectrum of life. You had people like Keith Sweat, Levert, Joe, Donnell Jones, Babyface, when they were singing the reverse, just the opposite of the roles that men have always played in women's lives. Now they're saying when they get home they'll cook. You know, Joe, he wants everybody's woman that he can't have. He's in this fantasy spectrum that he can't get out. Donnell Jones wants to do this. Keith Sweat, you know, crying about everything. You know, so it's, you know, when social media came out and music, it took women to a whole nother level. Okay, so now women seeing that they had the power of the man. Okay, now we don't want to fall under the feminist category because we don't want to seem so masculine. Okay, we don't want to seem so dominant. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna embed ourselves in more academics. We're gonna embed ourselves in more careers. Okay, now that the man is no longer present in most homes, a lot of this happened by choice, not by force. They reared the children. A lot of you did a very, very decent and pleasant job, and then a lot of you failed because the same men or males that you raised and young ladies that you raise are the ones that has this chaos going right now. But remember, they didn't create the chaos. They're only players, they're pawns in this game that's mastermind. And I'm not talking about no conspiracy theory because I don't believe in none of that nonsense. I'm talking about something that's reality. I'm talking about the mindsets that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, the people that I talk to, both men and women, and the input, the feedback that I'm getting back. Okay. So with that being said, now women are far more educated. Now women don't need men. They're buying homes, they're starting businesses, they're driving nice cars, they're raising their families. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But it doesn't, and they're packing these churches out. Okay. So we got all these things in the pot that's being stirred up. Now you have women that create this narrative, or this narrative has been created for them by all these different elements, where now they're saying, okay, I am the prize. Men will value me at all costs. or they suffer. But as so many people have said that, and I think most realistic women will agree with this, it's the opposite for men and women. As women age, and I don't want to say that you're not valued, because I think that would be an insult, because women are going to be valued no matter what their age, their size, or anything of this nature. What I'm saying is this: as far as being desired by the populace, the percentages run a lot lower for women as they get older, as they age, as they start to put on weight. Um, they inherit health issues, whereas men, it's kind of glorified as men get older, get into their mid 40s, 50s, and 60s, that now their value increases. Why? Not to say that they become more appealing, more attractive, or anything like that. Is they're no longer as the young males and men that's running around creating babies, disgruntled, don't have any sense of direction. Men are now more stable. They have direction. They have purpose in life. So their value increases. Okay. So now women are saying this, that if a man wants to date me, okay, they have these unrealistic expectations. You know, I've been watching it, and to the point where I'm just tired of watching it, where you have women, I'm going to show a video and talk on it. You have women that's in some of the lower echelon, I wouldn't say career, but workforce brackets, making $30,000-$40,000 a year, 2-3 kids, Section 8. Yeah, Section 8. And they're working and still on Section 8 because they manipulated the system, which the system was designed. They're not really manipulating the system. They're utilizing the way it was designed, if they're smart, because the system is designed for them to do this. Okay. So what they do is now they're getting on social media and on these platforms saying that if a man wants to be a part of their life, he has to make 6 figures or more. Come on, ladies, you gotta be more realistic than that. You know, these are unrealistic expectations. You know, you got, I think the guy that played on, what is the Browns? Okay, Mr. Brown. They did an interview with him, and he was saying that he asked the ladies in here, "I'm gonna show y'all how to get a man," you know. And he told them, write down all the things that you want from a man. He said everything, and they wrote them down. And he said, "Did you write everything down?" And then, and don't quote me on this verbatim, but it was something similar to this. And they wrote them down. He said, "Now apply it to yourself." See, you want something, you want this unicorn that don't exist. It's unrealistic. Most men, 1% of men that fit in these categories don't want women like you. And I'm not talking about all women, I'm talking about particular women. Okay. So it would be more realistic for you to get someone that's in your range, not someone that's out of your range. That's just like me saying that I'm gonna go and take Alicia Keys from her husband, Switch Beats. It's unrealistic. You know, even though I have a great deal of admiration for this lady, and I think she's a beautiful lady. I love her personality. I love her success. I'm talking about, she's just a beautiful lady all around. And I would use her as an example to compare other women to. Okay. not Beyonce, because Beyonce is a protege of the corporate world. She got with Jay-Z. Well, actually, she made Jay-Z, and they just have a contractual relationship, because we already know it's a bunch of controversy in that. But back to my point. The unrealistic expectations that you women have, that a man has to be a certain height, that a man has to make a certain type of money, that a man has to be this, man has to be that. Okay, you're making demands when you don't have a third to offer what it is you're demanding. It doesn't mean anything because you have a house and a car and a job. See, because you don't own that business. At least the majority of you don't. You may be making six figures, but you don't own it. You're still a puppet for the corporate world. That house is nothing but brick, mortar, wood, and glass. That's it, and maybe some metal. Houses are built and torn down every day. Car, you can't have no car greater than anybody else. It doesn't matter if it's a Bugatti or a Toyota, Honda. As long as it gets you from point A to point B, that's what all cars were designed. The elements of cars were designed for people to drive in, because back in the days they called them coaches. So you wanted to finest horses, and your coach, you wanted it shined up and stuff. And that's all they are. So if you want to go and spend $1 million or $2 million for a Bugatti, I think that's what they're priced at, then by all means you do that, because once people get rich, they can only buy so many things, and then they just start looking for ways to spend money. I don't know. I've never been rich. So I think the unrealistic expectations of women today, when they want men to jump through these hoops and do all these things, it's not going to work. That's the reason so much disparity. Now I'm gonna show you this video, okay? And then I'm gonna come back and commentate on it. Let's see. Okay. Settings. For some reason, this is not. And I don't understand what's happening. It's kind of funny that every time I get on this thing, something happens. Let's see, general. Oh, let's get out of that. Present, share screen. Let's go to Facebook.
Entitled to any kind of sexual intimacy from you just for existing, because okay, that can go both ways. If you're a successful woman, why do you have to put him through a test to see if he's broke? You have your own money, why don't you pay for something? Oh wait, it's because you probably don't have it. It's always broke men this, broke men that, but none of you have any experiences with rich men, which is why you can only focus on broke men, because that's exactly who you're attracting. And let's be real, even if you attracted said rich man, guess what? That comes with certain expectations, which basically means that you're just an escort. But also, it's been said that most millionaires and billionaires are some of the most cheapest people in the world. So if he's not giving you his money, then he's trying to protect what's already his. And I swear, these are the same types of women that will say that their love language is receiving gifts or acts of service, and what they mean by acts of service is lavish vacations. At the end of the day, these men don't owe you shit. If you're broke, just say that. And since when did women put their value in how much money a man makes? You guys are putting so much value into how much money a man makes.
A lot of these men out here are broke, poor, don't have no money. And a lot of them have an irrational fear of women using them for money that they don't have. This is what I do when I want a man to leave me alone. Ask them for some money, because they broke asses are going to leave you alone.
The same way that.
See, here's the thing. You know, it's a million one of these videos out here on social media. And, you know, when I look at these clowns, and I'm going to say that very openly and very, very adamantly, when I look at these clowns of women that have these mindsets, these perspectives, and embrace these ideologies, I laugh, because as everyone knows, if rich men do decide to mess with them, they're just pawns in this game. They're just used. Yeah, they may barter with them money for sex, but that's all they are, sex tools. You know, none of these men are rushing to marry them. None of these men are doing the things that they really want them to do. They may pretend like they are, you know, because they've got a new car or you know, a new purse or a new pair of shoes or something like that. But here's my point with all of this. When people are trying to be in relationships, and I've seen this also today, what happened to men and women getting together for a common purpose? Okay, and what I mean by that, it doesn't matter, and I'm going to use a hypothetical. Say I'm a man and I make 150 grand a year, okay? And I meet this woman who makes 45 a year, okay? Now, the objective is for us to come together for a common cause, a common purpose, and to create and build something. Am I right or wrong? So I wouldn't be under the mindset that because she makes less than me, that devalues her. Okay. Now, knowing that she only makes so much money as a man, being the provider for my family, then I know I would take on the bulk of the responsibilities in the house. Let her, you know, what we agree upon, not what I give her, say she has to pay. What we agree upon as a couple. That way she saves money. That way I save money. We can invest money in things. We can invest money in trips. You know, we can go and do some of the little things, you know, that we like to do for ourselves and still save money. But no, you know, society got us believing that when you come into a relationship, or got women believing you come in a relationship, that men takes on the sole responsibility of paying all the bills and you take your money and do what you want to do. That's not a relationship. That's you being a part of something that you have manipulated and that you're using and abusing. It's not a relationship, you know. So yeah, when a man, I think that women have the wrong misconception about men being providers. Men being providers, in my opinion, doesn't mean that you go out and buy women everything that they demand or they cry about. That's not what a provider is, or paying all their bills. You living in two different separate households. Okay. Provider is being a man that's structured, a man that's God-fearing, a man that's compromising, a man that's intelligent, a man that could articulate, a man that understands his emotions, and that can build an infrastructure in which this woman can flourish in. And I don't mean by just going out Chanel, Coach, Versace, Louis Vuitton, all that stuff has no meaning to it. And when your eyes are open to the realities of life, then you understand that yes, everybody likes nice things. Okay, you know, a nice piece of jewelry, you know, a nice car, a nice home, nice furniture. Want your kids to look nice, but when you women make it a prerequisite that you have these things in order for you to be happy, what about the man? You can no longer expect men to jump through hoops because men like me are no longer jumping through hoops to entertain your egos and your unrealistic expectations. I don't care how good you think you look. See, because men like myself, and I'm no high value man, and I'm not pretending to be one, but I am a man. You know, I have my stuff together, home, the whole 9 yards. So, what I'm going to say is this, is that you women that think like this, you're going out augmentizing your bodies, thinking that's what men want. Yeah, it looks good. I'm not going to lie. But I'm talking about you can't pass those that plastic on and those shots to your daughter. Because if you had a flat butt to start off with, I'm talking about she's going to inherit that. If you didn't have no titties or tits, she's going to inherit that in most of the cases. But sometimes, you know, genes jump from one generation to the next, and it may be on another family member's side, and they may inherit some of those gifts. But oftentimes, no, it doesn't. Okay. So with that being said, we have to get back to the basic of things. Okay. And what I mean by the basic of things, let's live life together through the good and the bad, you know, but don't come in with these prerequisites saying what I have to do and I have to meet all these qualifications just to get your attention when you bring none of what you're asking for or demanding. Because like a lot of people have said, and I champion this and I jump on this bandwagon, a lot of you women have tainted coochies that's probably stretched out of shape. You're probably going to doctors to get those snap back in place because you've had all these sexual partners or all these kids, but you're not putting that on your resume, how you've had to manipulate men to pay for these surgeries because you can't afford them. I've never seen so many women when I go places. Last time I went out, where everybody has almost the same hairstyle, same type of wigs. They're built the same. You look like a bunch of robots. Now you got these eyelashes. I don't know who came up with them, but you know, I pat you on the back. If that's how you making a livelihood for your family, then more power to you. But you women that wear that stuff, to me, is very unattractive. That I'm gonna just say that and keep it kind of pleasant. You know, the lip injections, man, it's comical to see these women lips blowed up like they just got in a fist fight. How can you possibly look in the mirror and think that's attractive? Those lips are not going to do no more than a woman that doesn't have those big lips. So when I say get back to the basic of things, I think we have to, both men and women, because you have some men out here with unrealistic expectations when it comes to women too. Okay. But when it comes to you women and men, I think when you come to the table, you should sit down and be honest with each other. You know, there's no perfect human being in this world. There's no one that has the right answers to everything. There's no one that's going to shine every day, because everywhere in the world has a transition of weather. One day it'll rain, one day the sun will shine, one day the wind will blow. So we have to understand that when we come together for the sole purpose of a relationship, because oftentimes people's intentions are different than a person's intent. And I was speaking to a lady about this the other day, and it's kind of funny, and I'm gonna bring this up, that we were talking, excuse me, yeah, we were talking, and it's like, not dating or anything, but her expectations were so unrealistic, because she would text me and say, well, I don't want a man or be involved with a man that's what you doing, how are you this morning, good morning, things of this nature. But it's unrealistic, because my time is just as valuable as your time. So if I'm reaching out, no matter what I say, if I'm reaching out, that means I'm thinking about you. At least I'm putting forth a diligent effort to communicate with you. If you're not reciprocating that, then you have no right to complain. So she sent me some thing on Messenger today, and I just concluded that, okay, I know those are not my characteristic traits, so I'm not offended by what you said. And it actually was a woman talking about women playing with her. So, you know, I'm not gay, so I knew it didn't apply to me. And however she meant for it to be, my message to her is, you have to reciprocate the same things that you're demanding. You can't expect me to call you. When I call you, you're always busy, or you're doing this with your daughter, or doing that with your daughter, or you running here, or you going to the gym, and you're doing that. But as soon as I say I have things to do, and I need to take a rain check, then it's a problem. So again, it's unrealistic expectations. You cannot, and I'm speaking to the women and men too, you cannot expect the opposite gender to do things that you're not willing to do. You can't demand what you're not willing to reciprocate. And it's just that simple. And I see so many people doing it. You know, my mom was 4'11", 5 foot. I think my dad was like 5'6", 5'7". I'm almost 6 feet. My sons are giants, 6'3", 6'4", 6'1". My oldest son is shorter than me. So I can't be 6 feet. I don't have a Bugatti or Lamborghini or Ferrari. I don't live in a multi-million-dollar, $10 million house, a $30 million house like Drake. I work for a living. But it's one thing I do know, and I pride myself with, like a lot of men that I know that's single or that's in relationships, even if they're not married. They're good providers. They respect their women. They respect their kids, even if they're not theirs. They love their kids. But then you women are coming in like God put a gold mine between your legs. No, it's not real, because if it was that good, believe me, to have a USD stamp on it, and it'd be sold in supermarkets. So let me see, who is this? Cheap viewers. I don't know what that means, but that's somebody that made a comment on Paul, whatever. But anyhow, I think, and I'm gonna keep pushing this, and I'm gonna keep pushing this bridging the gap narrative, because I believe that there's hope for men and women. I truly do. I'm a single man. I would prefer to be in a relationship, but I would prefer to be single without the drama and without all the unrealistic expectations that's demanded of me when it's not being given back. I couldn't possibly see meeting a lady, starting to date a lady, and then take on her bills when I have my own bills, when the benefit is only to her, not to me. Being in a relationship, yes, if she was struggling in an area financially, then yeah, I would feel an obligation to some degree to assist her. But no, I'm not going to come in and pay all your bills and then struggle with my bills while you go off and showboat with your friends. That's not how life works. And I think it's unfair for women to treat men like this. See, because back in the days, and those of you who haven't heard about what I just talked about, the 70s, when men truly exploited women, I was not one of those men. The days when men abused women, I was not in that era. So I'm a part of that X generation because I was born in the 60s. I believe in compromise. I believe in having an open mind and understanding. But you women have to give the same thing that you're requesting, but be realistic about it. There's so many of you women out here that's going to watch this, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to say, "Oh, here's another guy who's trying to bash women." No, I'm not by any means trying to bash women. What I'm trying to do is create a dialogue with women to get women to understand that there are good men out here that's willing to embrace you, and some of you that have children, but not with the garbage that you're promoting. Men are not willing to embrace that. Because what's wrong with us coming to a happy medium as adults, rational adults, and create something and build on it? Not me just giving, you receiving. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna keep pushing this, okay? And Monday through Fridays, I think, and it depends on my work schedule, but I think normally 7, I'm gonna just say 8 o'clock, okay? 8 o'clock live. I'm now streaming for those of you that's listening or who may listen at a later date. I'm streaming now through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Kick, TikTok, and it's one more. Okay, so you can catch me Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Okay, those of you that wish to be heard, have a voice for yourself or for somebody that you love or respect, then I have a QR code here on the screen that you're more than welcome to scan, and it'll take you right to the link. And then once you get to the link, you sign up, and then you can, on the days that we're on, you come in and I'll cue you on. And all I ask is that when you come on, just be respectful of the platform. If there's any other guests present, that you respect their opinions. Everybody's opinions don't have to be the same, and that's one of the reasons I created this narrative. And if you can't respect the platform, then I'll just shut you off. you're welcome to leave comments. I'm having my son and a friend of mine put up things so we can try to create donations to get people on that feel that their perspective need to be compensated for. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not planning on getting rich off this. I'm not quitting my day job to do this, so it's more educational. I used to say it for entertainment, but it's more for educational purposes than anything. And again, this disclaimer that I put out, and I will continue to put out at the end, beginning and end of every one of my episodes of broadcast, is that at no time was this platform designed to bash, degrade, be condescending towards any woman. Only those women that it applies to. The women that have no respect for men, the women that don't value men, that feel that men are only here for their own means or their own exploits. These are the women I'm talking about. These are the women we will continue to talk about. Not you women that's loving, loyal, dedicated, affectionate, kind, open-hearted, understanding, respectful. We're not talking about you women. And if in the past I have alluded to that, then I apologize, because that was never my purpose. My purpose is to create a dialogue where men and women start talking. Let's get the word out. All this guy, he has a podcast. It's beautiful. The dialogue is about uplifting women, to create this new avenue that men and women can venture together and create something positive. That's what I'm trying to create from this. Okay. I don't need to be a guest on anybody else's show. I don't need to be paid to be a guest on anybody's show. But I will try to create a platform where we can get donations in, where I can contribute those donations to the people that truly want to participate and help build this platform. That's what I'm willing to do. So, ladies, you're gonna have to get real. You really are. The expectations that you have are so unrealistic, especially when you can't meet them. I know so many of you women that's living in Section 8 homes. You may be driving Mercedes Benzes and Lexus, but you're not being realistic. You're not. And if your whole life is built around materialistic things and how people perceive you, then I hope one of your tricks don't ever die off, because if they do, then who you really are will be exposed. And I think when that time comes, you're going to be more embarrassed than if you were to just stand up and say, you know what, the struggle is real. It is. But I have no complaints. I get up every day. I work. Those that want to be a part of my life, they can. Those that don't, that's fine. If you have children, I take care of my children. I make sure food's on the table, the lights is on, we have running water, and we got a roof over our head. Because it doesn't matter if your house is $100,000 or $50 million. They all do the same thing. They serve the same purpose. Because most people, I've helped build a lot of these custom homes here in Vegas. And probably 80% of the house, these people don't even use. It's only for status. So if that's what floats your boat, by all means, do what it is that's pleasing to you. I'm just saying that when it comes to us men, that's trying to be men, you say you want a good man. Okay, but you have to be a good woman. You say you want a man with understanding, but you got to have compromise. You say you want a man that's not promiscuous, but you can't be a part-time hoe. You want a man that's in tune to his emotions, where you can't be callous, cold-hearted, and malicious. So for each one of your requests or demands, there has to be an offset or a balance. A lot of good men out there. You women outnumber us, so yeah, you're the majority, we're the minority. But you have to be realistic, because just like you're saying you're not giving up this unless you get that, men are saying I'm not giving that unless you meet these values, or unless you possess these values. If you don't possess these values, then why should I give you my hard-earned money just because you want to open your legs? You have to make it make sense. You can brag to your friends and girlfriends that all look the same. Same hairstyle, same eyelashes, same butts, same designer clothes, just different colors, different designs. You're not individuals. Just a bunch of more clowns in a circus. You're never going to have a good man. You can keep claiming this independent thing if you want to, and pretend that you're so happy, you're enjoying life. Oh, girl, I'm living my best life. I travel, I do all this. But how many of you going to admit how many times you lay awake at night and stare at the ceiling, no matter if it's in Bora Bora, Egypt, France, Italy, Europe, it doesn't matter. Some people can't fill that void in their hearts with material things. Because you think about it. I heard someone say this about Robin Givens. Robin Givens Williams was a renowned comedian. Made a lot of people laugh, very famous, very wealthy, but he committed suicide because he wasn't happy. So you think about it. And I'm not talking about you malicious women that get married and have children by these well-to-do men just so you can run off and then be what's really in your heart, and that's be prostitutes. Just under the disguise that you have money, you live in a lavish lifestyle, but you don't live by any principles. You don't have no morals, no values. All you see is a dollar sign. We have to do it better, people. We have to do it better, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to die lonely. And the way our kids, most of these kids are growing up today, they don't give a damn. Only about, they have the same mindset as most of you women do. My parents can't do nothing for me. I don't need them. Just think about how pleasing it would be if you had someone, whether you call them a partner, significant other, fiance, husband, boyfriend, it doesn't matter what title you put on it. Just imagine having that person that brought you peace and brought value to your life. A best friend that you could talk about anything, that the trust was unquestionable, it was unadulterated, where no man could even come in and question what you have because it's untainable, unpenetratable. I can go anywhere I want. You can go anywhere you want. And I know in my heart of hearts, my woman is representing me. There's no man on the planet that can give her what I'm giving. No man. And you have to feel the same way about me. It's one thing to be pleasant. It's one thing to be courtesy. It's another thing when you know a person's intentions through their conversation and you play along with it. That's cheating. That's being unfaithful, unloyal. But imagine having that mate. You can't say it's not possible because it exists today in the world. Someone you can laugh with, someone you're not afraid to talk to, someone you're not afraid to express your emotions to because they're going to throw it back in your face. But I just think that's a part of life. When people get mad or upset or disappointed, they say things. It's just life. But words are words. I think we put too much emphasis when people say words can cut like a knife. No, words play with your emotions like a knife. Words is just a sound. It's how you interpret and how you process it determines what those words mean. But again, coming to a close, I want to thank you, whoever, I don't know who it is that's been on here, a couple of people that's been on here the whole show. Thank you for tuning in. As I said, we'll be here Monday through Friday, starting tomorrow, which is August the 5th, 2024 at 8 p.m. We're streamlining through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, which is like a upcoming thing. There's a lot of young people on there, Instagram and TikTok and Kick. Okay, so we're on all the major streams. So you'll probably be seeing these. You can go back and look at them at a later date. Up here, as you can see with my cursor, you have Scan Me. That takes you to the link to this website. And anytime that we're on the air, you're more than welcome to call in, queue in, sign up, and be a guest anytime. You have family or friends, co-workers that you may think that may be interested in participating, then, hey, send them my way. We welcome all people. Please keep in mind that this site, we don't discuss politics. We do discuss the Bible in the terms in which it relates to relationships, but we're not going to have sermons on it. We don't talk about homosexuality because that is a person's sexual preference, and whatever they do in their private life, their business. So those are the three subjects that we don't use on this platform. And I ask that you respect that. Okay, so again, the scan code, QR code is up in the right-hand corner. You can scan it, follow the link, sign in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. We'll try to go for an hour, but if we get some nice, hot, juicy topics, then we may go a little bit longer. I'm currently looking for a co-host. It doesn't matter, male or female, as long as you're intellectually inclined and have the ability to articulate and be respectful towards all people, then I'll consider it. So with that being said, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to share my wisdom, my knowledge, my education, and a lot of my opinions. And I hope it's been very educational, entertaining, to say the least. And I pray that you will continue to be a loyal follower and participant and supporter. So with that being said, God bless you. Take care. Be safe. Those of you that's out there at work, have a pleasant and blessed night. God bless. Love you. Take care.